Hi kids! How are you today? I hope you are doing great. Welcome to another day of learning opportunity. I am your teacher, Ma'am Sheila B. Beldan. Today, we are going to study about writing a feature article for English 5, Quarter 4, Week 8. This video contains information published by the Department of Education in line with MEL. We do not assert ownership on the material being used. Writing skills is an important part of communication. Good writing skills allow you to communicate your message with clarity and ease other than to talk it out. Why do you need to write? Is it good to put your ideas into writing? The primary reason for writing is to communicate your ideas with others and to stimulate interest from the readers. You also write to reflect on your experiences and to learn from them. When you write, you are either writing for yourself or you are writing for others. This week's lesson will help you to develop your skills in writing a feature article. After going through this lesson, you are expected to write a feature article. One useful writing material is a feature article. Features are more in-depth than traditional news stories and go beyond providing the most important facts. The purpose of these stories is to provide a detailed description of a place, of a person, idea, or organization. Features are not meant to deliver the news firsthand. They do contain elements of news, but their main function is to humanize, to add color, to educate, to entertain, and to illuminate. They often recap major news that was reported in a previous news cycle. Often, feature articles are about giving information of human interest, teaching an audience how to do something, entertaining people from different walks of life, suggesting better ways to live. Stories in newspapers and magazines other than straight news stories, editorials, or advertising. Feature articles are about a type of expository writing that requires students not only to write a clear informational piece, but also to present material with a personal and convincing angle or twist. An article that is a window into the human experience. Feature articles are highly creative, effective, and engaging articles. Now, here are some tips in writing a feature article. First, know your reader. Decide whom you're targeting. Picture the reader in your mind. Second, know your end goal. Know what you want to happen as a result of your article. Third, explain why the reader should care. Don't make the article all about you. Make it relevant to the reader too. Fourth, share your information. This is the nuts and bolts of what you want to say. And for fifth, anticipate questions. Be proactive. Anticipate and answer those questions. Now, what are some possible formats that may include in the feature article? First, we have introduction. Start by describing a dramatic moment and then uncover the history that led up to that moment. Next, body. Use a story within a story format, which relies on a narrator to tell the story of someone else. And third, we have the conclusion or good ending. We also have 7 types of feature articles. Most feature articles have elements of more than one kind. First, we have the human interest feature. This type typically reports on someone's success in spite of great odds. It may recall a tragic predicament. Second, the personality feature. The subject of the article may be famous or not so famous but has done something of interest to others. The personality feature is very much like a character sketch. Third, the best articles. The Courier Journal has a column that publishes the reviews of the best products of all kinds. This type of article usually includes the writer's personal experiences with the product. And the best articles includes proof and examples that the product is the best of its kind. Fourth, we have the news feature. This type of article brings a human interest focus to breaking news. It adds personal involvement to what may otherwise be a distant, seemingly unimportant event. Fifth, the how-to feature. This article explains how to do something, usually a complex process that most people would not know how to do. And the article explains the steps of the process in enough detail so that another person can do this in process. Next, we have the past event feature. The article typically includes research, but it is not like an encyclopedia report. The article serves as a human interest history lesson. And the past event article or feature article, this type of writing usually puts a human race or a human face on history. In other words, it lets the reader know something about the people who were part of history. And seven, the informational feature. This type of article shows insightful coverage of a topic. The article often refers to sources of research but not like an encyclopedia report. Instead, the writer makes a personal collection or connection to the subject and includes his or her voice. So, here is a sample of feature article. The title is The Finest Festival in Lucena. The Pasayahan Festival in Lucena is an annual festival that promotes tourism held in the city. It began on May 28, 1987, under the administration of the officer in charge, Euclid Absid, and former Bureau of Internal Revenue Office Chief, Aguinaldo Absid. This is a week-long celebration in the streets of Lucena City, and it usually starts on the first day of the last week of the month. This is in time for the celebration of the feast of Saint Ferdinand, Lucena's patron saint. There are some sign shops or bazaars, performances of local bands on different areas of the main streets. They also have food stalls, colorful Flores de Mayo, and Grand Parade, which is held every 20th of May. Other activities are Chami Festival, Mr. and Miss Pasayahan, Chami Eating Contest, Gandang Lola, street dancing competition, parade of huge and colorful floats of the participating companies and organizations, with street dancing and marching bands. This symbolic festivity of the said city honors the culture and traditions of the Lucinahin. So, what is the title of the feature article? Does it have an introduction of the topic? And do all the sentences talk about the topic? While reading it, can you imagine the events taking place? How did the writer end this article? And what type of a feature article is it? And now, let's have our learning task 1 for our engagement activity. Directions: read the feature article, then answer the questions about it. Do this in your notebook. So, here are the questions. What is the title of the feature article? Does it have an introduction of the topic? Do all the sentences talk about the topic? While reading it, can you imagine the events taking place? How did the writer end his article? And what type of a feature article is it? Let's move on now to learning task 2. Directions. Below is an example of feature article. Rearrange its parts and write them in a correct paragraph format. Do this in your notebook. For learning task 3, write a feature article about any of the given topics below. Organize your ideas following the format. Use the following rubric below or on the next slide as guide standard in writing a feature article. Here's the rubric for writing a feature article. For learning task 4, write a feature article or story based on the conditions below. Imagine that when you arrived a little late for school one day, there was no one there. The gate was open, bags were scattered everywhere, and the classroom doors were wide open. What do you think must have happened? And in 4 to 5 sentences, write your second paragraph stating realistically possible explanations for everyone's disappearance. And stretch further your imagination and write your third paragraph citing unusual explanations for everyone's disappearance, and end your paragraph with how you feel about the event that took place. Use the given rubric as guide standard in writing a feature article. And let's move on for simulation. Now let's recall what you have studied. Blank are more in-depth than traditional news stories and go beyond providing the most important facts. The purpose of these stories is to provide a detailed description of a place, a person, idea, issues, or organization. A good feature article has well-written. What are they? We have the blank, blank, and blank. So now for your assessment, write a feature article story about a topic of your choice. Remember to use simple, clear, and vivid description of the subject of your story. Give your feature story a title. And observe standards in writing a paragraph. Use the given rubric as guide standard in writing a feature article. And for your reflection, communicate your personal assessment as indicated in the learner's assessment card. And that's all for now. See you next time.